had an idea for the end of the movie. James Bond had done what only James Bond could do. He'd run up a tower, he'd shot his ex-girlfriend to death, he jumped out of a window and landed on a nuclear submarine and saved the world. And I thought, like, well, what happens at the end of that day? I figured, like, in a way, stuff that's been covered with Daniel Craig's film quite interestingly, like what happens to the person. And so thought about a song that might be interesting for the end, about him discovering sort of finally that the reason why he was on his own was because of himself. And I can't ever find ways of saying these things adequately. But the Oscar-winning lyricist Don Black can. And Don is the most extraordinary collaborator. You'll hear his name a lot tonight, but around about 30% of tonight's program is Don's lyrics. And Don has a way of finding a phrase that somehow feels familiar and you've never heard it before, and yet you have. I mean, the obvious one would be Born Free, which Don won the Oscar for. Born free as the wind blows, as free as the grass grows. Within that line, you seem to have the whole movie, and it's an extraordinary talent. So he wrote a really beautiful lyric for this, and I'm going to sing it over there, and it's called Only Myself to Blame. But before I do, I have to tell you about Scott Walker. Scott Walker, obviously, godlike Scott Walker. We're talking to Don about who we could get to sing this song. And we both said Scott Walker. I mean, we dreamed of having Scott Walker singing the song. And Don knew Scott's manager and gave him a call. Scott was on the phone. And we said, we've got this song. Would you be interested in doing it? He said, well, I'd need to hear it. So I said, well, I can send you a demo of the song. And he said, no, I need you to play it to me. And so he arrived at Air Studios on his bike. And he came and he stood next to the grand piano in the big hall where we'd been recording some of the score. And I had to play the song to Scott Walker. And this is what he heard anyway. He said yes, by the way. I've walked way past midnight. I've driven for days. I've tried to forget in so many ways. I've held other arms, but they don't feel the same. And I've only myself to blame. From city to city, I still see your face. It follows me around all over the place. I shouldn't look back, but I do just the same. I've only myself to blame. I knew it was love, but when you are young, you think love will come again and again. There's no greater fool in the Fool's Hall of Fame. And I've only myself to blame. I knew it was love, but when you are young, you think love will come again and again. There's no greater fool in the Fool's Hall of Fame.